Hello, my name is Henriette and welcome back to my channel. If you are new, I'd love to have you here. In this video, I'm going to start decorating some of the rooms inside my home, ready for fall. I'm going to begin with our living room, and as always, I do like to add something that I've made myself. So I'm starting with this tray that I've already got, and I'm going to be painting it in that lovely autumnal brown colour. I have watered down my paint in order to get into all the little nooks and crannies of this tray, and I'm using paint brushes and a natural sponge to apply it. The colour I'm using here is called Burnt Umber, and I'll be sure to link it below in the description box. To me, fall means coziness, and there's nothing more cozy than a whole pile of cushions, so I decided to make some of my own. I'm going to be adding a fringe trim to these cushions in that lovely dark chocolate brown. I am Danish, but have lived in the UK for over 30 years. And as you may have heard before, the Danish word hygge is something that I like to apply in our home a lot. So the meaning of hygge is basically a feeling that we're trying to describe. So it means feeling warm, comfortable and safe. And it comes from doing sort of simple things like lighting candles, lighting a fire, baking, playing games and spending time with your friends and family. So hygge is definitely a great thing to apply all through the autumn and of course the winter. Now I tend to buy most of my fabrics from eBay because I've found that they are much cheaper than anything I can buy in a shop. Saying that, I do occasionally buy from the shops, but mainly if it's cotton, because at least that is very reasonably priced. But these cushions I've made here are definitely much cheaper than any ready-made cushions that I can buy. I also made 2 more cushions for my sofas in a different fabric which has a different texture, just to add some more interest. The last little project I wanted to do for our living room was to decorate this wreath, just a little bit, to add a bit of texture. I want to use things that I've already got in the house, so I'm starting off using this gypsophilia or baby's breath, because it's something that I had dried earlier on in the year. I love using gypsophilia because it's so pretty and delicate. Now I added this bow made out of raffia, and I will be removing it later because I decided that I didn't like it. Next, I'm going to be adding these sweet little acorns, and I'll drop a link in the description box below in case you're interested. Now I'm cutting them in half for this purpose and attaching them to the wreath using my glue gun. Now this is hot glue, so I'm being really careful not to burn my fingers. I also had some bunny tail grass, I think that's what you call it, in the house, so I wanted to add that to the wreath too. And finally it was time to change that bow. So I'm going for this one instead. This is quite thick and it's sort of burlap-y type fabric, but I'm going to keep it quite simple and just have 2 ends dangling down like this. But it needed something else, so I used some of the cones from our cedar tree. Then it was finally time to get decorating, and I'm going to begin by hanging up my wreath above the fireplace. I will get back to the fireplace in just a minute, but I couldn't resist getting some cushions onto the sofa. For our living room, I've decided to go for the lovely autumn colours, which are the burnt oranges, the browns, the light browns and the dark browns, because it fits really well with our sofas. I made this off-white pumpkin last year using teddy bear fabric, so it's really soft and squidgy. And now you'll get to see why I painted this tray dark brown, because it fits perfectly with our sofas as well. Now this large vase I actually picked up from HomeSense for only £7.99. I'm adding some fake or faux stems to this vase. I do actually end up putting them over by the fireplace instead and replacing them with some other ones. But I'm only using 3 stems because these are quite leafy and that is all it needs. To dress the rest of my tray, I'm going to use some leather-bound books that I've picked up whilst thrifting. On top of them I'm going to place these little corks. They are gifts from my mum. And then I'm going to add a candle and some acorns, just to tie in the wreath. I'm not going to add anything else to our coffee table because I want there to be room for teacups and books for when we sit and enjoy this room by the fire. I am going to repeat the cushions on our other sofa, however I am going to change up the pumpkin. So this pumpkin is from HomeSense and it's dark brown, and I do believe it was £12.99 and it is available right now. This is our Churchill chair and it came all the way from America, and it is also going to be treated with a blanket and a cushion and another pumpkin, also from HomeSense. I'm going to add this dark brown pot to our little side table, and I've filled it up with some more of the bunny tail grass because I want it to go well with the wreath. I'm going to finish it off with some brass candlesticks with dark brown candles and of course a couple of little pumpkins. So here comes the changeover of the fake leaves or faux leaves, and I'm changing them to something a bit more colourful. These ones are sort of a reddish orange, which sits really well with the cushions. The other ones have moved over to the fireplace, and I've placed them in a vase that I made myself. This was originally a glass vase that I painted. We happen to live right next door to horses, so I always like to include this horse's head, and I love the colour of it. I'm going to be adding more dark brown here onto my fireplace, so I'm using some more books and of course the wicker pumpkin and little balls. Finally, I wanted to add a wicker basket with another blanket. I want to make sure that we've all got blankets. And not forgetting to light the fire. And I think that's all I'm going to do in this room. I also wanted to show you what I'm going to do with our kitchen this year, and also give you a couple ideas for some table settings. So I find myself getting ready to be creative again, and I'm going to kick off by painting some vases that I've had for a long time. Now I'm mixing my own paint that I've already got, and I'm trying to find that perfect neutral colour, which is going to be the base for my vases. I'm then going to be using the wet paper towel idea. I don't know who came up with this first, but it really works. So I've got a wet paper towel that I'm dipping into some paint that I've already watered down, and I'm also using another wet towel just to completely even it out. It gives you complete control, and it's a great method. I'm going to finish them off by sealing them with some matte craft sealer. Whilst I was in painting mode, I also decided to spray paint this vase. It's made out of metal and it's currently gone metal grey, but I thought the time was now right for it to go brown. I had some more fabric left over, so I decided that my last project should be to make some table mats. If you are new to sewing, then this is a great place to start, because you're literally just making rectangles. I'm old school, so I pin my fabric up, but I know it can also be done using an iron. Just use whatever method you find the easiest. I'll show you how all of this ended up in just a minute, and also how I style them. Here comes my kitchen, which I've completely cleaned and emptied out, ready to be decorated. As you can see here, our home has extremely high ceilings and also unusual windows. Now this house is a Gothic Victorian, hence the windows. I'm going to start off with my new vessel, which I'm going to fill with all our wooden spoons and rolling pins, etc. And I'm going to place it over by the cooker. Now I'm not going to go too mad on either side of this cooker because we do use it and it is gas, so no fires please. But that doesn't mean I can't make it pretty and autumny. So I'm adding this little wooden tray for our olive oil, salt and pepper, and of course some rosemary from the garden. I'm also going to incorporate a bit of fall colour with the tea towels. These are from Home Sense and are available right now. And a couple of pumpkins on top of our little shelf will add that lovely orange colour. I'm going to use this scalloped edge tray over by our coffee and tea area. I absolutely adore this little tray and I think it works really well for fall. I'm also going to add some teacups or coffee cups, which are going to match perfectly over in this little corner. I'm going to add some chopping boards just next to the tray to make it stand out a bit more. I have 4 little shelves over in the corner of my kitchen, and I always like to decorate them for the seasons. Now I'm using my trifle bowl here and just filling it up with fake pumpkins. And I'm just going to place a couple of large acorns next to the trifle bowl just to finish it off. I do like using the colour orange when it comes to fall, so I'm going to use these little vases next to some pumpkins on the next shelf down. going to add some more leather-bound books on the next shelf, and also a vase and another pumpkin. I'm going to use a rattan tray on my final shelf, which I'm going to decorate with a pumpkin and some bottles that we found in the garden. I'm also going to add a couple of the large acorns. And I've found a use for my raffia. I'm going to tie some untidy bows onto these little wreaths. So I'm tying 3 bows effectively, one on top of the other. And then I'll split the raffia into 2, each piece at a time. I ended up making 2 of these, one for each window. I also wanted to style the windowsills, so I brought in the second vase that I painted, and I'm going to fill it with some absolutely gorgeous orange coloured leaves. Now these stems are also very full, so I'm only going to use 3. I'm going to place a couple of the larger acorns on the other side of the windowsill, and I will make sure that I drop a link in the description box below to these in case you like them. Of course, I'm not going to leave out the other window, so I'm just going to add some pumpkins, some acorns, and a couple of little vessels that I used to have when I was a child. For our kitchen island, I like to have some real plants here because it's good for the air quality. So I asked my husband to bring in my rubber tree because it was in this gorgeous brown pot and it seems to fit well with my theme. I'm also going to bring in some candles, and these ones came from TK Maxx, and the tall one smells like pumpkin pie, which is absolutely gorgeous and a must for fall. Oh, and I must just mention that none of the products featured in this video are sponsored. On the other side of the island, I'm going to bring in this tray, which is a dark brown metal tray. And I bought it in Wintertown, Orlando, when we visited there quite a few years ago. And it only just fitted into my suitcase, which was brilliant. But I love it and I use it a lot. It was from Pottery Barn. I'm going to decorate it with a garland just to get some real fall colour in, and some of those dark brown pumpkins and some more orange ones. And I think that concludes the decorating of the kitchen. Table setting, I want to be a little bit sophisticated, if you like, and then the second one I'm going to make a lot more fun. But I'm going to start off by placing my placemats. And the plates I'm using here are just plain white dinner plates, topped with a dark brown smaller plate. I'm going to pair this with my golden cutlery. I would love to hear from you. Do you set special tables for fall, and do you enjoy doing it? And also, if you are doing it, what colour schemes are you going to be using? Now, to give this table setting a little bit of panache, I'm going to use like a burnt orange napkins. And the napkin rings I'm using here are from the White Company, and they've just had them in the sale, so you might be able to pick them up. I'm going to bring in my metal vase that I painted for the center of the table, and I'm going to add some absolutely gorgeous oak leaves, which are faux or fake, to the vase. Now, I'm a great believer that all tables need some candles, so I'm going to be using my brass candlesticks here with some brown candles. And I'm going to be placing 3 at each end of the table. And I think that's all I'm going to do for this table setting. Simple, but nice. This second table setting, I'm going to start off by adding some more of my books. I think they're really nice on a table because it adds interest and maybe also some talking points. I'm also going to leave some of the books open on the table, which I'm then going to decorate with pumpkins. Now, these pumpkins I've had for a few years, but I think they're still available from Hobbycraft. They tend to bring them out every year. Now, I also wanted to use them because some of them are green, and I haven't really used green so far in my fall decor. And I'm just going to place the candlesticks in amongst the things on the table. For this table setting, I'm also going to swap the napkins over to some green ones. I kind of like a bit of green for fall. What do you think? I'm going to sprinkle a lot of little pumpkins all over this table and some acorns, and I'm going to finish it off with some leaves. You'll have to let me know which table setting is your favourite one. So those of you who've been on my channel for a while will know how much I love baking, and I'm not going to let you down this week. So today I'm doing another Jane's Patisseries recipe, and this one is a toffee apple cake. So basically it's a 2-layered toffee apple cake with apple cinnamon sponges, toffee buttercream, and a delicious toffee themed topping. As always, I will of course leave a link to the recipe in the description box below. Whilst I'm baking, I want to thank you all for watching. It truly does mean the world to me. And also, if you have enjoyed it, please like, subscribe and comment. It really helps my channel, and I absolutely love hearing from you. Into the oven they go. And because they have quite big pieces of apples inside, they do take a long time to bake. In fact, I ended up baking my one for 45 minutes. Once your cakes have completely cooled, it's time to get started with the buttercream. And this one is very easy. It's literally butter, icing sugar, and some toffee sauce. I like to pipe my buttercream onto the cake because I think it looks very tidy. Whenever I've baked this cake, it goes down like a real treat. It is really moist and it tastes a lot like fall. I'm going to decorate the top of the cake with some more buttercream, and I'm also going to sprinkle on some toffee popcorn and add a bit of toffee sauce, just for a bit of extra toffee flavour. That's all from me today. I'm going to leave you with some videos from the garden because it's looking rather beautiful at the moment. And I also just wanted to tell you that my next few videos is going to be all about a homemade Halloween. Now have a fabulous week. Much love from London.